I am King Joffrey of Zamunda. All right. Start my podcast. I stole that joke from a much funnier cousin of mine when we went to summer camp.
You know what? You don't need to claim that you stole.
I stole that joke.
Hey, that's good. You're a good man.
I stole that joke.
You fess up to stealing your cousin's joke. That's nice.
My cousin's so funny. Abdurrahman, I know you watch this sometimes. He's so funny. We went to summer camp. We went to the YMCA camp in Maine, and during like meals we would sing. We'd sing songs, and the way to decide who's gonna sing the song next is you clap your hands and you go, "I'm gonna sing." And he did the singing, so he would just clap his hands and just go, "I am King Joffrey of Zamunda." Sit down. He's like, "I'm looking for my son."
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful moment.
You're so talented. You should do stand-up, my cuz. You should do stand-up. I don't even know if he's my real cousin, man. I call anybody I grew up with at a certain time period of my life is just a cousin of mine. Like if I knew you at age
no blood
8, I'd be like, yeah, my cousin.
Your cuz? Maybe we'll be cousins
one day. Yeah.
You're a joke thief, though. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
I'm not doing this on stage, and I fessed up to it.
So what is the deal with Joffrey? Is that like from? Is that
you haven't watched the classic Coming to America?
Oh, yeah, I have.
It's a classic movie, Coming to America, man.
That rules. Yeah. I can't believe. Now I do remember. I have seen.
He claps his hands. I am King Joffrey of Zamunda.
So this is the problem. I got goldfish brain. I have a hard.
But you're a dad, man.
It's not. It's been before.
So you're a good man for admitting it.
Oh no, I got crap brain. I remember. I don't really like lines from movies, especially like I saw Coming to America in the 90s. So, I mean,
you ever rewatched it?
I don't think I think parts I've seen Amy loves that movie. I
hated the sequel.
I watched the sequel.
I didn't like it.
But no, I think of Game of Thrones, which I saw that.
Oh, King Joffrey. Game of Thrones is lit, man. I love that Game of Thrones time because like they released it every week and everybody was like, what's going to happen in the next episode?
Yeah. I never got into it that hardcore. I was like super late to the party. I ended up binging it like crazy, and then I never watched the last season because I heard it was bad. So I just stopped.
See, here's the thing about the last season. The last season was amazing. The first 2 episodes. The first 2-3 episodes, amazing. That first episode of the final season, you are a liar if you didn't say you didn't crap your pants in excitement how great that season was. Freaking when the Night King like grabs a ice spear and nails a dragon, and like
that's pretty badass.
Like the fact that I thought it only got a little weird when my favorite character in the show was little faceless girl Arya Stark.
Oh yeah,
and her if you have it's so old you should have watched it by now. If this is a spoiler for you, just go watch it. She kills the Night King.
I didn't know
with that little trick that she did.
That rules.
Little dagger trick. And that to me was kind of weird because, like, I don't know, the Night King being killed by Arya Stark, that's not how I thought the Night King would go. And that's just, honestly, I think it was anti-black. That decision was anti-black, man. Because I think the Night King was a black man and they just let him down. They just let him down.
So
should have gone out a different way.
Playing the race card on Game of Thrones.
I say we take him. I think we taken the Ice King. Ice King is a black man. But no, for real, that show I love that show. I did get mad at the last, the way they ended it, because out of nowhere, I think a lot of people got mad. I got mad because out of nowhere, Dany Targaryen, she becomes evil. And I was like, and then freaking Jon Snow has to go back to the Wall, even though Jon Snow was a good guy. He's a good character. Okay, okay. This isn't interesting. This isn't entertaining.
It's
They should redo Game of Thrones, but like ants, just all ants.
ant game of ants.
Game of ants. Yeah.
I don't know if I would approve of that.
But hear me out.
Because part of what was cool about Game of Thrones was, boobs. And I don't know about you, but I don't really care about an ant's boobs.
Ant boobs. How about that? How about that thorax? Come on.
Yeah,
man.
let me get some of that thorax meat. I want to see a nice skinny thorax midriff on a thorax ant.
I don't think they're. Yeah. Game of Thrones was heavy on the boob. They were light on the butt. They were light on the booty, but they were heavy on the boob.
That was HBO, man. That was the heyday of HBO. Like, you had to have boobs in all your late night shows.
I still say Last of Us is really good.
No
like,
boobs in that one.
Like I think HBO still got it.
Did they put boobs in that?
No, I think it's like a lot. I don't even think there's a real sex scene. There's like they got two teenage lesbian girls that fall in love during a bit of it, but that was very PG. But there's no I think there's kissing. I don't think anybody even is having sex. It's a sad show.
Yeah, I again, another thing I'm not versed in. I remember it was a game. I remember AOC was all about it. She blew up on Twitch playing that one.
Shout out AOC. No, the show's great. It's with I'm blanking on his name. Pedro Pascal.
Oh yeah.
It's all on HBO. It's honestly worth an HBO membership. I canceled my HBO membership the minute that season was over, and I'll open it again once they have a new season of it. Even though the writer's strike is going to delay all the good shows. There's so many good shows that are going to be delayed.
What will we do with our time if not for,
I bought a new video game for that exact purpose.
You just buy a new video game, and and then you'll burn through your time. You'll get to just burn it.
I play as a Japanese peasant boy, and I'm building a village.
Is this Rice Paddy Simulator?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. How did you know that was the game? That's what they got to do with game. That's the game I want to play.
Dude, this is a legitimate game. It was on sale on Steam. I'm really playing this.
Rice Paddy Sim?
It's like I call it Rice Paddy Sim. The real name of it is Sengoku period something. But like you literally are like it's like Valheim, that Viking building game, but like with Asian people.
But you get to wear the hat.
And you can't be black Asian. I wanted to create my character and make myself.
You can't be Blasian?
I just wanted to be like tan, just tanner. But no, like I'm Imperial Asian, and I'm really working the fields, man. I built a house. It's great. I can make a samurai sword. I have to make the forge though. I gotta forge. I gotta make the forge. I gotta make my sword.
That rules. There's so many weird Sims out there.
Oh yeah. There are some games in my catalog. Like I have over 150 games in my Steam catalog.
Yeah. And
there are some games I have in there that are like, I'm waiting for like a vacation or like a period of time where I'm just gonna really go in and play it. Like Kingdom Come Deliverance is probably like I've played 20 hours of it. I haven't beaten it because it's so big. It's probably one of the coolest RPGs I've ever played.
My brother-in-law, Colin, he's got me into some really weird games, or like introduced me to them, like Hand Simulator. Hand Simulator, guys. He likes all these games. He I don't know, or I don't know if he likes them even. He gets a kick out of them.
Simulator?
It sure is not.
Okay.
It's none of that. It's not weird like that.
It's like a VR game and you're just like
no, you don't do any of that. You're doing like weird like you milk a cow. That's one of the things that you have to do with so maybe a little bit like what you were talking about. But no, you milk a cow That's one of them.
To completion.
But here's to completion. You get all the milk out of the cow, and
Into the cow.
there's one where you gotta like take a screwdriver and screw something in. So here's
Screw the cow.
you screw. So here's the kicker, though. The buttons, okay, the controls on Hand Simulator are like very cumbersome, and it's so insane. Like, I don't think anyone really plays this game to get good at it. It's just like, can I play this game? It's like a challenge to yourself if you're able to play it. Like, the buttons.
Oh, like the surgeon game too.
Well, this thing is like, there's a button that like moves your like one finger is controlled by one button. You know what I mean? And like, so it's all keys. It's all keyboard keys, and there's no mouse. It's just keyboard, and like part, like you got to push a button to move your hands forward, and then they're just there, and then you got to tilt them, and there's a button that tilts them, and then there's a button that like controls each finger, and then you're trying to milk a cow, and it's like the toughest. You're just like trying so hard to just get a drop, just get one drop out of this damn cow. Get a drop of milk out of that udder, you know?
Yeah, we've all been there. Yeah.
Just trying. Just trying and then failing. And then there was the one that I loved.
Crying in the bathroom afterwards.
There was this game I loved called Getting Over It.
I feel like I've heard of that game.
You heard of Getting Over It? It came out probably like 5 years ago. And it's this guy in a like a kettle, like a big black kettle, like a human sized kettle. It's like up to his waist.
Oh, I know exactly that game. And he has like the rocks,
sledgehammer, and then all you can do is swing your sledgehammer, and you're in this kettle.
Yeah.
And so
that game's really
it's
popular.
a wild game, and like it's so difficult to beat. Like, so many people give up before they're even halfway through it, because if you're a speed runner can get through it like with no cheats or anything, you know, in like 3 minutes. I think you could do it. 2 or 3 minutes.
Speed runners are crazy, because I have have you ever like brutally been through a game that you barely beat, and you're like, fuck, and then you watch a speed runner do it, and you're like,
yeah.
Oh wow. Because like I'm a huge Dark Souls fan, so I've played like, you know, Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Elden Ring, and it's just crazy watching people just speed run those games and like suddenly glitch out and get done in like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And have you seen the challenges? Like, someone's like, oh, this game's not hard enough, I'm gonna beat it using the Guitar Hero freaking
the guitar.
Oh no, this game's not easy enough. I'm gonna do like the DDR floor mat, and that's how I'm gonna play this game.
Yeah.
Someone taught their goldfish to beat Elden Ring.
That I don't even believe that.
I don't believe it either.
Elden Ring I didn't do because it looked like it was going to be really frustrating, and I didn't want to go there. But
it's actually the easiest FromSoft game ever.
There you go.
It's super easy compared to Dark Souls 1 or like 3. It's wicked easy. The jump mechanic, the fact that you have an entire open world where you could just farm grace to get stronger and like get XP versus like, man, Dark Souls 1, you literally like would... Dark Souls 1's a beautiful game. It's a very well done game, but it takes forever to get super strong. And in Elden Ring, I felt like I was super strong from like the beginning. I felt like I could take on anything in the world from like literally the minute you're on, versus like all those other games make you so weak. It's
crazy. But they build, the people that design the games, like, I think some of these old games that had like a storyline and like, you know, you had to go like Half-Life. Did you
Yeah.
ever play the original
Yeah, I
Half-Life?
played Half-Life 1. I played even the little side Half-Lives where you could play as Barry the security guard,
Yeah,
and you could play like all those, yeah.
blue something.
Blue something, and then there was another one where you play as like the green guys or
Yeah,
the
opposing force.
opposing force, and then I played obviously Half-Life 2, Half-Life 2 episode 1 and 2. And
So the original Half-Life game, I think probably on average would take someone like 10 hours to beat. I would imagine,
uh
from what I remember. Maybe I'm
I
wrong.
know it took me like a solid like 3 days, 4 days, but
Yeah,
of
but
hard gaming sessions.
yeah. So it could take a while. But so these, I think they built in a crazy speed run into the game because I was just curious one day. I was like, I wonder what the fastest speed run on Half-Life
It's
is.
like 5 minutes.
It was like 12 minutes.
Yeah.
And they must have built this in because there was this technique you could do called bunny hopping.
Oh yeah.
And you just like, you could get, like, you jump in a weird way where you start gaining momentum and you get going really fast. And the way this guy was moving through the levels, like, there's this part where he had to bunny hop out of a window and like skip a whole section of the
Raven
game.
Town, right?
And then I don't remember. And then land in another window and he just like skipped a bunch of the game. But like, it was like he exactly had it, and that they had to have, like, the people who designed the game had to put that in there.
Um, in that game too, I remember speedrunners would take a can and hold it up, and if you hold it in front of the, there's an iconic scene in Half-Life 2 that just makes it, this is my favorite game, where, the world is taken over by aliens, and one of the guards has like a can on top of like a trash can, and he hits it and throws it on the ground and tells you to pick it up.
Yeah.
And it's like your choice to pick it up or like, take a beating from him. And so I think someone picked up the can. And if you put it up in his face, you could push him and go through the zone and run and everything. But no, it's crazy shit. They have Fallout 4
Low Fallout.
speed runs. There's a speed run you could do to get through the game, and if you hit like the right quadrant or whatever, you can go like 300% over the cap for speed and mobility. So like the minute you press, W to move forward, you're whizzing like halfway across the map.
It's really, game design just goes so over my, like, I can't even, like, I can't even imagine the effort that goes into designing a game like GTA 6 that's coming out. I don't know if you saw some of that.
Well, they released a while ago, a hacker hacked into Rockstar, and you can see footage. And thank you, Rockstar. You put a lot of effort into the butts of the characters. They gave everybody a booty, even the dudes. They gave everybody a little diaper to walk around in.
Wow, that is an. I never. I didn't want to get spoiled.
Oh,
but thanks for spoiling the butts.
They got butts, man.
Excited
booties.
for the butts in GTA 6. I think
There was not a diversity in booty in GTA 6. GTA 4.
5?
5, yeah.
4? 5 comes before 6. Was 5 better than 4 in terms of booty?
Well, they had that mod where you could have sex in 4.
Oh my god.
Remember?
No.
There's a coffee mod. They called it coffee. They called it
I
hot
do
coffee
remember
or
that. I
something.
think I downloaded the hot coffee mod.
I
think I got it. No, I don't think I did. I did. Oh, you know what I did do? I remember the Sims, the original Sims game. You could get a mod to take off the censorship.
Oh.
The little whatever the censorship
some
stuff,
3D.
the pixelated stuff. So the pixels go away, and guess what? It's just Ken and Barbie, man. That's all it was.
No nips.
They weren't showing nips. There's no bush. Okay.
No nips.
There's no dong. It's just. I mean, I probably got 6 viruses on the computer trying to get the nudie mod for Sims.
You know what's funny? If you go on a Steam and you go to Steam's like top selling games, you probably have heard of this already, and you remove the filter Like there's a filter that says, don't show me not safe for work stuff.
Yeah.
If you remove the filter, like it'll be like, oh, number one game, Elden Ring, back when Elden Ring came up. Oh, Elden Ring, number one game on Steam, highest selling game. That's bullshit. Hit the not safe for work button. All of a sudden you see Titty Master 29.
No,
that's
dude.
the highest selling game. I swear. We can go on your Steam account right now. I'll show you after this. If you go and look, like, what's the trending best game? And you click
I feel like I unclicked that and I didn't see.
It'll be like titties.
Wow. Thank you, Steam.
So many porn games. And it's always like a furry porn game that's like number one.
Dude, that is wow. I had no idea the dark side of Steam.
We need
Clip it.
we need furries to be our fans because they're the most committed fan base.
Oh no, they're hardcore.
We need I want furry fans because they're
No, I've heard awesome things about the furries. I've heard that they rule. They're like fun. They know what they're into. They don't try to coerce you into doing what they're doing. As far as I know, they don't.
One of the best fighting
They're
games.
kind of like, they're kind of like the Jews. They're not out there trying to, get people to join their thing. They're like, we don't want you, but if you find it, you can pass some tests and you can get in there.
I don't think you can. Can you convert to Judaism? I thought
Yeah, you gotta pass the test.
There's a
Yeah, you gotta
test.
take the Jew test.
The JATs.
No, I know a comedian, Natasha Leggero, did it. She's a Jew now.
Oh.
Yeah, you know her?
No, but more power to her.
She's fun.
I always thought there's a difference, obviously, between being ethnically Jewish and religious. So maybe it could convert. I do know that furries spend a lot of money on those fursuits, man. They're expensive, like 20 grand, 30 grand.
Yeah.
And one of the best fighting game player in the world is black, and he's a furry. His name's Sonic Fox. He's a big old furry.
Yeah,
He's skinny. He's a little old furry. He's a little twink furry.
there's a
Gotta love him though.
there's a Jewish hat called a strimmel.
You just Googled it.
I couldn't remember what it was called, but I had to remember because I want to get it right. But that thing, those things cost like 10 grand.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
that
dude,
the Hasids wear. They wear these crazy. They're like crazy, intricate, wild hats. I was looking into them, man. They're too much. They're too. I'd have to take out a loan.
They talk about the lime. There's like this lemon that was like from biblical times or whatever that Jews get from like the Middle East, and they spend like hundreds of dollars on just a lemon. And also, like, there was this great podcast. I think one of the coolest podcasts I watched in months is our podcast, of course, No Keith Time. But no, another one is friggin' Theo Vaughn interviewed just a New York City garbage man. Have you seen that?
I saw that it exists, but I didn't watch it.
So I didn't know that some, like, I think, like some Jewish people, what they do in New York is during a holiday, I should be more educated on this, they get rid of all their old shit, like couches, old electronics, like old furniture, and they just dump it outside and they like burn it and shit, and they're like, oh, we got to buy new stuff because it's in with the new, out with the old during this specific holiday. I forget what it is. And that was the craziest thing because, like, the garbage guy was talking about it. He's like, yeah, you bet you freaking flat screen TVs outside, freaking beds. Like, obviously, I'm exaggerating, but he's like, huge pieces of furniture, beds, and all the stuff outside, just waiting to be collected because of the holiday in these giant, mostly Jewish neighborhoods.
That rules, man. Let's go.
Let's go steal.
Let's do a Mo Keith Time field trip. Is it stealing? I thought it was being thrown away. Is that what you just said?
I feel like it's stealing. I don't know.
You can't steal trash. It's trash.
Eh.
Tell us in the comments. Can you steal trash?
I feel like you...
I guess if you're looking for, well...
How do you know if
can.
it's trash or people are moving in? That's the hard part. How can you tell the difference?
Say no... Okay, you know what? I got things to say about that. So, no, okay, I want to finish with can you steal trash? And I think I think you can. I think you can steal trash.
How comfortable would you be if someone was just snooping in your
See,
trash?
that's what it is. Is like, but that's
Just
okay.
grab a tampon.
That I'd be cool with. I think because it's not mine. Let's be real. No, it's if you're looking for personal information, that's different than what I'm talking about. Like if they're throwing out a flat screen TV, if you're throwing out something that has use, like I don't think you can steal that.
Yeah. I feel like you have to see the for free sign. If the free sign's on there, good.
Oh yeah, dude,
No doubt.
the free sign. Okay, the I remember in Portland, free stuff on the sidewalk very common, and people take it, and it's great. We got rid of a lot of stuff that way from our garage that just like we just didn't need it, but it was still like decent stuff. We got rid of it. It was all gone, and anything wasn't gone by the end of the day. We took it to the dump. Like there's etiquette, okay, about leaving stuff out. You put it on the sidewalk. If it's there for more than a day, it's going to the dump. It's got to go back inside. You don't leave a couch in the rain for a week. No one's taking your rain couch.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I saw
Wait,
somebody.
But yeah, okay.
Oh, go on.
Well, no, I was just saying because like if you like, I was moving out and I remember, I was living on a side street, and I remember thinking to myself like, oh, I have to like guard this couch because it's sort of on the sidewalk and easily could be taken. Like there's nothing stop. And if I hadn't been standing there, some guy just pulls up in his truck. He's like, "Hey, is that free?" I'm just like, "No, that's a moving truck. I'm moving." He's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sorry, dude. They're vultures, man.
They're vultures. My mom is one of those vultures, man. If she sees something for free or like she likes yard sale, dude. My mom thinks one of the best inventions white people have made are yard sales.
I like that she thinks white people invented yard sales.
That's in her head, dude.
Maybe they did. I don't know. Can we go back to Jimmy Yard Sale and see who he was?
Dude, I remember growing up, there were many seasons, and I don't think it's a Mo and Keith podcast until I start talking about my mama.
Yeah,
but like
not.
I didn't remember a summer when I was a kid where my mom would drive through neighborhoods, just the richer the neighborhood, the better, and she's like, these white people are amazing. When they don't want things, they just sell them in the streets. This is so smart. What an innovation. We throw our shit away. And she's like driving around. She's like, oh, that's a good table. Dude, entire house furnished by yard sales, swap meets, flea market stuff.
Respect to that. Because you do get the odd good thing on the side of the road. But some people are hardcore. They'll take anything. They're hoarders. Like they're just hoarders are wild, man.
Dude, my mom was like that. For sure, she'd just take anything.
Yeah, but so she'd keep it in the house?
Oh yeah, my mom
what's the
still
house
has
like now?
old shoes. No, it's not bad. My mom's house. It's just like she keeps her hoarding saved my butt because she saved some immigration documents that we didn't need, but I ended up needing for a last minute trip to Amsterdam. She that came in clutch. So I've decided to not insult her hoarding, but she has like old trophies I won when I was a kid. She has old shoes that like nobody fits into anymore. She keeps like every piece of paper that anyone has ever given her is kept and cataloged forever. It will never go away. When she dies, and I hope it's not going to happen anytime soon.
Let's be honest, it's never going to happen.
Oh, yeah, I'll die first. But, like, the amount of shit we'll have to go through is incalculable.
I know. And that's... It's just sad to see sometimes when people's whole house is loaded. Like, there's a guy in the neighborhood that, like, is a hoarder. Like, you know it's bad when it's spilling out into their yard. Like, you're just like, all right.
Our neighbor's a hoarder, too.
You're just like, okay, you have an air conditioner in your yard? Really? You can't just let that go? It's no good anymore. That's no good. You have a broken, like, chair swing in your yard. It's broken. Half it's on the ground. It's rusted. Really? Just let it go.
I think it's, so we live next to a hoarder. And at first we thought it wasn't that bad. Like the front of his yard is like nothing is mowed. Everything's like, tall grass. It's like really crazy.
It's always what it looks like.
And I'm like, okay, it's not that bad. And my girlfriend was really interested in one of the houses being sold near us. So there's our house, there's the hoarder, and then there's the house for sale. And the real estate agent had a drone go up and they did like land surveillance on just, the property. And we found out his house we thought was just like a small like lot. It extends really far, like way beyond our backyard. And
Yeah,
it is just filled with trash.
yeah, man. That's a. I mean it. I love looking through old stuff. That's fun. Like, but I I don't know. I don't know if I could live like that. Like it's fun. Like I have like I keep old scraps of paper. Like I like take comedy notes or whatever, and I just have like a whole bucket of just comedy notes like in my
I always
closet.
throw out those notes.
And I keep them, and then because I'm always like, oh, I'm gonna go through these one time. But what inevitably happens is I go try to clean out stuff, I get rid of a bunch of crap, and then I find the notes, and then I do go through them a little bit, but they're still there. They're still collecting dust. But it's always fun to find something that you were looking for. Like dude, I found the greatest. This was the greatest resume I ever saw.
Was it yours?
No, it's great in an ironic way. It's not great. It's actually the worst resume I've ever seen. This was the worst resume I ever saw. We got this resume in at a job that I don't work at now, so I'm not even going to give away any information about this person. But this person made a resume, and for a like a sales clerk job, like a customer service, like you're just helping customers. That's the kind of job it was. That kind of resume, 1 page max. If you know anything about resumes, you don't want more than a page. There's no point. Like that type of job, it's nice to say like, oh yeah, I mowed my grandma's lawn.
That extends to all resumes. All resumes
pretty
should
much
be a page.
Pretty much. The only time it's more than a page is like if you're going for like a CFO position or like a doctor. Something where it's really important to put a lot of information on it. But
Even in those positions, they already sort of know what you're coming in with.
sure.
But yeah, you're right.
So I guess my point is this resume was so bad. It was 4 pages long for the clerk job. And it was just like where he went to high school, what he did in high school, his first job that was 3 months, a bunch of stuff at that job. Next job that was like 6 months, a ton of stuff on that job. And then this went on and on. He had this guy was probably 25 and he had like 8 jobs. He wrote everything about all the jobs. And then I'm like, this is insane. This is totally insane. And then I get to the last page. There's 1 line on the page. It's literally finishing a sentence from the he couldn't.
Was it just like, you're welcome?
Dude, I kid you not. The last thing he chose to include on his resume is, I was in the high school football championship. My team made it to the high school football championship, and unfortunately, we lost. That was the last line of his resume. Can you even imagine?
So his resume ends with, I can nearly succeed.
I know not to end my resume with, I'm a failure. Even if you're like second place failure. Like it's still, you probably could have left that out. It probably could have left several pages.
I just think like he had at one point was like, man, maybe I should run my resume past someone I know, like a mentor, my parents, someone I care about. And then he like looked and he was like, nah, I got this.
Well,
this is the shit.
And this was probably
25.
I don't know.
He's 25 years old.
Yeah, this was probably 10 years ago, pre-AI. And I'll be real, like 10 years ago, if I had to produce a resume, I would have known it for it to be a page. But like there was a time when maybe this guy just had no idea. Like the internet maybe like he probably just doesn't know. I mean, some people just don't know.
I feel like it depends. Like, I remember in high school and in college, I got a ton of lectures about, hey, make sure your resume is this specific, like, one page. Make sure you spread it out in this type of way. And, like, we live in the age of Google. You just Google, hey, what should a resume look like? Even before AI, like, could type up a resume for you. It's like you could still, I typed mine up and it was one page, like, hey, these are my core competencies, these are my skills, this is my work history, these are the awards I've won, and I was a wow
Done.
star.
Done. Guy failure. Never got hired. Was fired before he began. Anytime you don't get a job, you were fired before you got the job. That's what I say.
So, right now, dude, too, I wonder, like, do companies screen whether or not the resume is made by an AI as like a
Oh.
way to figure out if they're going to hire somebody?
I think there's ways to check that. Um,
For sure, there.
I I know they have to do it for school, like for papers now.
I wrote. Remember, I was doing. I was competing to get a spot with a writing with a publisher, and I was writing one-liners, and one of the one-liners I wrote was professor, local professor, um, disheartened by son's AI written suicide letter, um, which probably isn't a YouTube friendly thing to say, but like I feel like I don't know, like I've done ChatGPT. I played around with ChatGPT. I still think it's cool. Maybe I'm dumb, but I don't really know how useful it is. Like, I asked it to write me jokes. I was like, write me a funny joke about this topic, and the jokes always sucked. And like, I asked it to like write emails, and the emails never came out the way I wanted.
Yeah.
Like,
It's really not it's not great yet, but it's obviously getting better.
oh,
Um
and it's like crazy that right now, like OpenAI, like the company that made ChatGPT, the premium service, I think they stopped people from signing up. So anybody who's had it already has the service, they're good. Like, this is the premium service, not the free one. The free one's accessible to everybody, but the premium one I think is connected to the
I
internet.
heard
It's
about that.
better. They're not taking more members.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, so it's getting out of hand is really what it is.
I think it'll be interesting to see 10, 20 years from now if like AIs would get to the point where like if you file like an insurance claim, you're not dealing with any human beings ever. It's always like the AI, and the AI is now the name of the company. Like Geico, the Gecko is like the AI, and like basically you call in, it's like, "Hi, I'm the Gecko." The British accent. Oh my god, and they'll go through the whole claim with you, and that's how it'll be. It'll just be like these AI entities, and they'll be gods, and we'll worship them.
I
You
hope
know, like
I've always wanted to worship the gecko from Geico.
I just think that shit, like, it's not that far away because AI, it's like really friggin' smart. Picasso,
You heard it here first. AI is really friggin' smart.
really friggin' smart, man. But I'm not like scared because like Elon Musk is like, AI is the end of the world. It's gonna kill us all. And I'm like, dude, touch grass. You just disconnect it. AI can't do anything in the real world to you. Like,
Well, those people, the people like that, they're so wrapped up
the internet.
in their work that they just don't take the time to like goof around, maybe. And they get so wrapped up and caught up in it that it's like all they can think about, and they're obsessed. And so I think that could be part of it. But yeah, I know, I'm sure my job's gonna get axed by AI. We'll see. I don't know.
Then universal free income comes in, man. We need the income. We've talked about this before, though.
Yeah,
We need
UBI, baby.
the-
UBI.
Give me that income.
Give me that UBI. Someone's got to spend their money. Let's go.
Um, I just, I kind of want those jobs to go away. Like, even Aristotle talked about automation back in the day. Like, he was just like, automate everything, man. so that philosophers can just think, just be. But
Yeah,
I
thinking all day though, that's not good for you.
I don't know. I've always thought to myself, like, what type of problems would I have if I was, like, rich enough to not have to work, and, like, there's no. I feel like time would be going so slow.
Well, it would be occupied with other things because the reason you don't have to work is because you're paying other people to work for you by working for somebody else. It's kind of like you would have to put in the work to go find food. You'd have to go put in the work to find water, and it wouldn't be as easy as just going to a store. You would have to like find out how you're going to get somewhere. No one's going to make your car for you. No one's going to make all that stuff, make it easy for you to live. Like you're just trading your time for
More time.
somebody else's time. It's just it's very strange to think about it in that way, but that's all it is. I mean, people get good at one thing and then they do that one thing so that other people don't have to do it, and they don't have to worry about all the little things, all the really important things. We're so dependent on the things we need. We need food, we need shelter, and we need water. And that's how people lived for the longest time. Was just they didn't have time for just chilling,
They didn't have time for just chillaxing, man.
Yeah. Well, I read this thing like people didn't really start chilling till fires.
Did
we ever talk about that?
I don't think we ever talked about that.
Like there's the whole thing of like the fireside chat. Was like it was the first time you could just like chill by a fire.
It is cool when you are like camping and stuff, like that moment where you get the fire going, everyone's just kind of chilling around the campfire. And dude, so I went last time I went camping at like Cherry Mountain, I think it was, whatever, in New Hampshire with my homies, Manny and Goldie, and a few other friends. And we were with a friend of ours, and we were all, bugging that time, and we were all around the campfire and just chilling, vibing. And this one friend of mine starts talking about cannibalism all of a sudden. And he looked at me, he's like, "Mo, I bet you have delicious arms."
That's messed up.
And, not to be too weird, but I was sensitive at the time. And I was just like, "What do you mean? Delicious arms?" She's like, "I bet you got delicious arms. If we were eating people, your arms would be delicious." And I started getting mad. I'm like, "Why do you want to eat my arms, man?"
Yeah, I wouldn't hang out with that guy.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was really weird.
Yeah.
And then my friend was defending my buddy Manny, was like, "We're not going to eat your arms, Mo. Just calm down."
Okay, if it was a bit, that's different, but it didn't seem like a bit.
It didn't. It was weird.
It seemed like this guy was really trying to munch on those delicious arms.
He wanted my arm. He wanted my arm meat.
But
he wanted to eat it raw, too. It's weird.
Dude, I would at least want to put a little sear on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I want you to
put a little sear, do a little fireside chat, crisp it up.
And in the back of my head, I'm like, everything my mom said was right about white people. Jesus Christ, I shouldn't have been here.
Shouldn't have done that. Shouldn't have hung out by the fire.
Yeah. Too close. They almost got me.
I went to a really white event. I went to a concert last week.
Was it a ska concert?
It was Tool. It was one of my favorite bands called Tool.
I bet there were black people at a Tool concert.
I don't know. When they lit up that room, I didn't see much dark skin, man. It was a lot of white, and I even commented to all my white friends that I went with. I was like, "Geez, that's a lot of white." I was like, "My God!" But you know what? They put on a crazy show. I don't know. Have you ever heard of this band, Tool?
They're famous. They're huge.
They're a pretty big band. They played at TD Garden.
Yeah.
I've
never listened to a Tool song. I don't recognize a Tool song. I should say I probably listened to a Tool song.
They're one of these bands from the 90s that
Never grew up. Do they still wear jorts?
They see Tool's a Tool's just they're such an anomaly of a band. They're in the 90s. I don't know what was going on. Like they were just like, let's sign all these really weird bands that sound really unique. They just don't. They're like, let's just find a band that sounds like no other band. Like they're just so bizarre. Like there was like Primus. They sounded like they're just really. It was all about the bass guitar and like slap funky bass, and then just weird like quirky guitar parts and like really cool drums, and the singer has like a wacky voice. And Tool was like the drummer is like out of his mind, crazy good at drumming, like all doing all kinds of weird technical stuff that the average listener probably doesn't even care about or even understand what's going on. And the guitar player's like, he was like this artist guy. He worked on movies, and he's like played pretty basic guitar parts in terms of like, he wasn't like playing like shred guitar or whatever. Like he was like writing just like classic kind of riffs and, you know, groovy bass drum interaction, and then a singer that, you know, he could sing really well, and the lyrics are just like out there. Some of them are like really trippy and weird, but also they have like a really pretty good sense of humor in their lyrics too. And they had their biggest hit song in the 90s was called Stink Fist. And it is exactly what you think it's about.
It's about fisting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was like on the radio, it was called Stink Fist. They call and then on the radio, I think it or on MTV, they didn't call it Stink Fist. They called it like Track 2 or something, Track 1 or whatever. They didn't use that name, but like all the lyrics are about fisting, and if you read them in such a way, you realize it, but it doesn't sound like it, and probably isn't necessarily about it, but you could interpret it that way based on how, like, one of the lyrics at the end of the chorus is "Turn around and take my hand." Like that's pretty hilarious to me.
Do they say it like in a savior? Turn around and take my hand.
Pretty actually,
Oh my God.
not really like that.
That's so fucked up.
It's a little more dark. They're like a dark band. If you want to see a weird music video, check out a Tool music video. They're totally weird. There's a lot of stop motion, like frame by frame animation type thing.
Are you a Daft Punk fan? Not.
I wouldn't call myself that, but
I was gonna say they were a part of that too. These really wonky, really good music videos. Like,
yeah,
like really weird conception. But go on.
But so when you see them live, they're not one of these bands that moves around on stage or anything. They don't make a point to like I'm the singer. Look at me. I'm the front man. Look at me. This guy, Maynard, he sings. He stands in the back. He's in the back. He's almost like behind the drummer on either one of the sides of the drummer. It's like they have these big platforms next to the drummer, and he stands on them, and they're not even lit. He's in the darkness. He's singing in the darkness. That's how weird this band. Like you're not there to look at him. He's like, you can see he like will wear funny stuff on stage sometimes. Like he one time he painted himself like blue in the 90s. He was like on a tour. He was like painting himself blue. He'd wear like a bra on stage before like that was like something that was normal to do. If you're a guy, like people would think that's weird. And sometimes he'll wear like a riot gear outfit. Like he will wear like odd stuff on stage. And this last tour he had like a mohawk, like a blonde mohawk, and he was like dressed in like a kind of like a cocktail suit.
Would you ever want to meet them, or is it like one of those situations where like you'd get too close, you know?
I don't think. No, I haven't met them. I think it would be just too weird. I don't think you want to meet them. Like I think it'd be. I could have an interesting conversation, but it would just be me, you know, spitfiring nonstop annoying questions. I don't think it would be very fun for them to meet me. So I don't think it's a good idea to meet them.
I feel like
But
That's how I feel about my musicians that I like. Like, I would never want to meet Kendrick Lamar. Like, I love Kendrick Lamar. I love all of his music. I never want to meet him because I would want that ruined. You know, I wouldn't want that. Like, there's this mystique around these
yeah, there's a
people.
mystique. But I mean, this guy Maynard has been on Joe Rogan several times. Like,
Mm,
I think they're kind of like buddies. He does like jujitsu
mm,
a little bit. He's into winemaking. He's in like 4 bands too. Like Tool's one of these bands that they move at like a sluggish pace. Like they came out with albums in like 93, 95, and then 2000, 2005, and then nothing until 2018. Pretty long.
Is their new shit good or?
It's still good.
Mm.
Yeah, it's still they they don't want, like, they're a band that they got popular, but you're just like, it doesn't make any, I don't know how they got popular. Like, they're just so weird. Like, as they got older, their songs just started getting longer. Like, their newest album that essentially took 13 years to make, it it was like, um I think there was 5 or 6 songs on it, like actual songs, because they were all like 10 minutes long. Pretty wild. All their song, the longest song on the album was like 17 minutes long.
Speaking of weird albums that came out, you know Outkast and Andre 3000, right?
I saw Outcast, yeah.
Yeah, he Andre 3000 released a new album, and it's all wind instruments,
Oh yeah,
and it's not rapping.
I heard about his flute album.
Dude, I listened to it. I love Andre 3000. He's in my top 5, and
Nice.
he's one of the best rappers. He is one of the best rappers ever. And he was like the his albums like that. Like it's all giant wind sections, or just wind instruments, and it's great to listen to. But he had some songs that felt like a scary movie. And like it was like really weird. Like you should really take a listen to it.
Do you know what it's called?
Um, Blue Flame, something Blue Flame, I think is the name of it.
Okay.
But the names of, I gotta look it up because the names of like the specific songs are really long, and the opening song is I'm sorry, this isn't a rap album. Where he's just like, I'm sorry that I'm releasing something that isn't a rap album. Because if you know anything about rap, and Andre 3000, you know that for years Andre 3000 hasn't released new rap music because he's just like, it's called New Blue Sun, and the first song in it is, I swear I really wanted to make a rap album, but this is where the wind took me.
That's a good joke too.
The next name of the song is The Slang Word Pussy Rolls Off the Tongue. And the other one is That Night in Hawaii When I Turned. I can't read the full. That Night in Hawaii When I Turned. I want the full album names. I don't want to. But that's Andre 3000 for you, you know.
That rules. Oh yeah, one final closing argument. Not even, but you ever do one of these? You ever
Wear
do one of
jeans.
these cool things?
Rip my pants.
You ever do that? You ever rip at a Tool concert? At a concert? You ever go to a concert and realize your pants are heavily ripped?
Some of your nuts pop out.
Yeah, it was not the right day to like go commando.
Oh, you went
I
commando?
took the train. You know, I'm just buzzing around on the train. Rip. It's very windy up there.
Did you buy new pants or did you roll back?
I had to roll. I had no choice, man. I rolled in these.
Oh, so you took the train from Portland down to Boston?
No, I took the train into Boston from another place in Massachusetts. I drove down to Mass first, and then went in with some friends. But the train ride was fun. The train ride is cheap to go. It was like a 40-minute ride. It was only $10 each way.
I love the train.
Pretty magical. And what was great is there's a lot of people going to see the Tool concert on the train.
So you're with fellow
So
Toolies.
with fellow Toolers, you know?
Toolers. Is that the name of the Toolers?
No, there's no name for them. I think just Tool fans.
Toolies and Swifties.
Yeah, well, that was another big controversy. The when that album came out, the Tool's first album in 13 years, it knocked Taylor Swift off the #1 spot. And people were like losing their minds. The Swifties were losing their minds because they were like, who is this Tool band? Who is this band that's defeating Taylor? And it's just like, yeah, they're like a really good band from a long time ago that people have been waiting for this album forever, and it finally came out.
As if record sales matter for how good a band is or anything like that. It's just
right.
Like,
I know.
like your music is still valid. Like
I know they just have to be number one.
Oh my god, if she is not a billionaire, I am not valid. Her music sucks.
My life, I hate my life.
Like some of the best music. I've talked about my love of the like the single album Little Joy. That's like some of my favorite music. They're not, you know, by artists that are super popular. Like 1999 by the album 1999 by Joey Badass. Joey Badass is not the biggest name in rap, but that's an amazing album. He had an amazing time. Some of my favorite music to listen to. Capital C's died like he was successful. He died poor, you know. Like Drake is one of the best when it comes to sales artists, but he is not the best rapper, one of the best artists. Like Andre 3000, he made a ton of money, but he was not like he's not the highest grossing artist, you know. One of his albums was Outkast's, I think one of their albums was one of the highest grossing individual albums, but like when you like just because of how good just because you make a ton of money doesn't mean your music's great. You know, amazing.
Absolutely. I mean, one of my all-time favorite bands had one hit in like 1991 or 2 or something, and they just never had another hit, but they continued like and had a really cool fan base and put out good music for all year, like, you know, up until, you know, this day. So yeah, it doesn't matter how much money you're making in artists. Come on, man.
I wonder how much of the whole Swiftie craziness is like really just like memeing. You know, you're just memeing. Because like, have you ever met people who run stan accounts? Like they just stan something. Like they like really love one particular person, celebrity thing, because and the account is dedicated to them.
Is that because Eminem had a song called Stan?
Maybe, I don't know, but like it's like internet slang. Like you stan this person, you love them so much.
That must have started with Eminem, because he had a song called Stan.
I'm familiar with that. Maybe I don't know.
I never heard it before that.
I don't know how the.
Leave in the comments if you think that, you know, Eminem started Stan, or if that was something else. But it sure seemed like he started Stan.
Makes sense.
It's an Eminem reference, man.
Freaking love that song.
Yeah,
it's a great song. Tea's gone cold, I'm wondering why.
Yeah,
this little white boy died.
What was that lady's name? Dido?
Birdie?
Dido.
I
know that one because it's kind of like dildo. That's why I probably remembered it.
Turn around.
Here's a fun one. When I was in 5th grade, we were getting like the beginnings of sex ed, and we could ask the teacher a question on a piece of paper, and you could put your name, and then the teacher could come to you and tell you what the answer was if you didn't feel comfortable. And my friends were like, you should ask her what a dildo is. And I was like, yeah, that'll be funny.
That's a good way.
Yeah, it's real funny until your 5th grade teacher, who's this like, you know, mildly overweight lady in her late 50s, comes up to you and she's like, Keith, do you really want to know what a dildo is? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, it's a fake penis. Like, and she said it with disgust. And I was like, okay, thanks.
It's a fake pee-pee.
That was, oh man. You think it seems like it's going to be so funny until your teacher sits down with you to tell you.
I remember we had a teacher in middle school that we all hated. She was a social studies teacher. And, you know, I'm a fat guy, so I can be fat phobic. She was a larger woman, you know?
Yeah.
And she drove, we didn't know this, but she drove a, like a Corvette type car.
My favorite car to see a large lady in.
And we had detention, so we were there until like 4 something, and like there was a late bus that would take us to our neighborhood, and we were waiting for the late bus to come, and we're in the back parking lot of Lincoln Middle School, and the teacher's waddling out of like her fucking doorway. We hated this woman. She was openly racist. She was evil. So please abide by my fat phobia and understand. And I'm waiting, and we see her go into her car, and I shit you not, I just heard she got it. And like tilted one way, and she's driving it down. You can kind of hear the thing like just go.
There really is nothing funnier than just seeing a big person get into a tiny car and watching it just sink down to the ground. It's pretty funny.
I just thought, she deserves to get made fun of. She's an awful human being, and I hope she died alone.
Wow,
she died alone in the cold.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! There's so many racist teachers growing up when I was a kid who were genuinely racist. Like they were like legitimately like they did not like black people. It was very fun. Or they didn't like Somalis, which was code in like Portland, Maine at the time to say you didn't like black people. It's just to say, I don't like Somalis is all.
Yeah. No, I remember when I didn't like Somalis, but then I met you.
Aw.
That's the sweetest thing. No,
I didn't like Toolies until I met you.
Yeah, once you met a real Toolie, you were like, oh.
Honestly, I didn't like black people until I met your baby.
Oh, yeah.
I met your little baby girl, and I was like, okay, they're fine. We'll keep them around.
Okay.
Sorry, Courtney.
Sorry. Some other cool news stories that I thought were fun. No, this isn't fun, but it's actually not fun at all. And I don't know why I'm laughing, but it's too late.
Are we finally going to talk about?
We're going to talk about. They're letting Ron Jeremy out of jail. Did you see they're letting Ron Jeremy out?
Oh shit!
Because apparently he's bedridden now, and so they're like he's no longer a threat, and it's just like, yeah, well, the prosecutor's like, yeah, but he's been known to assault caregivers, and they're like, the judge was like, well, you can just hire men, basically saying like it doesn't matter if a man gets assaulted by Ron Jeremy, which is insane. It's like, or you're saying like, yeah, don't worry, he's not gonna do anything gay, like, you know what I mean?
He's not a queer.
But this is also a guy that definitely, I'm pretty sure he's done gay. I think he's probably at least done gay stuff on camera.
Dude, I remember growing up, I was like, who is this guy? Because Ron Jeremy was, I used to love watching VHS, the VHS channel, and they had every couple of months.
VH1?
Oh.
Or VHS?
It's VH1.
Okay.
VH1.
Right.
The VH1 channel. Hey, come on.
Yeah.
VH1 channel, they did like top 10s or whatever, and they had people react. It was like the OG reaction channels.
Yeah.
They would have people react to videos and stuff. Yeah. And they had Ron Jeremy on. And when I was a kid, I didn't know a lot about pornography, and I was just like, who the fuck is Ron Jeremy?
Yeah.
And then they like talked about him once, and they're like, oh, this guy has a huge cock, and he fucks a lot of women. And I'm like, that dude is ugly.
That
dude is hella ugly.
And now you've seen him these days, but he is really, I mean, I know these trash, horrible people, like when they're in jail, they really make a point to look trashier and more horrible so that they can probably get out and be like homebound or whatever, and let them just basically die.
Like Weinstein and
exactly.
everything.
They all try to make it look like they're in bad shape, but who knows?
They were just fine. They were just fine a little while ago.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden their whole life falls apart, and then all of a sudden we can't.
Well, in the end of the day, man, I don't give a fuck. Like, ever since they let Cosby out, I'm just like, they
blew it with that. They really just, they're like, oh, I forgot to dot the I.
Cosby totally asked for it, though, because he was like lecturing black comics about like using the N-word. And then finally Hannibal Buress was like, screw you. Like, don't tell me what to do. I know the rumors about you.
Plenty of people have, yeah. He did get really big off of that.
He got huge, and I like Hannibal
Oh, I
Buress. He's
love
funny.
Hannibal
I thought
Buress.
he was what made the Eric Andre show, because I'm not a huge fan of the Eric Andre show, but I liked Hannibal Buress just being on there.
I am a big fan of the Eric Andre show.
Oh man, Eric Andre is funny too. It's just like the kind of straight-ish man of Hannibal Buress, then kind of becoming a part of the show and character is
Yeah,
fun.
he was great. And I saw Hannibal right after he had that big clip or whatever. He's crushed. I saw him a bunch of times. Saw him like 4 times. He's great. Hannibal's great.
Oh yeah, so many good comics.
Um, anything else? Any closing? Oh, we got Thanksgiving coming up,
Oh yeah, yeah. Thursday's off.
and I don't know if you heard about this, but I saw this thing. I don't even know if it's real, but I hope it is. Have you heard of Friday? Have you ever heard of Brown Friday?
No.
So apparently, it's a big day in the plumbing industry. A lot of people have to call a plumber the Friday after.
Shat through their toilets.
Yeah, they blow out their toilets. They call it, plumbers are like really busy on Brown Friday.
Shit. I replaced the toilet with Courtney's dad once at
Yeah.
the house, and I thought that was the weirdest thing because I'm not handy, and he like was just like, "Yeah, you just gotta help me carry it and help me install it." I'm like, "Okay, sure, I'll help you install it. Just tell me what to do. I'll be your little,
You're like
be a little helper."
yeah, toilet
And
king.
he totally just did all the work for me. He was just explaining it as we go. It was
That's
really
good to
funny.
know.
I was just like, "Are you sure? You don't want me to help you?" He's like, "No, it's cool. Just this here's the wax. You just put the wax here. There's a giant wax seal that you use."
He
when
wasn't
you're-
like, "Can I just have you test it real quick and I'm gonna watch?"
No, I think he gave it the inaugural flush.
Did
when
he?
we were all
Oh, what a
done. Yeah, I
guy.
think he needed to go, but no, it was cool, and it's a good toilet. It's my favorite toilet in the house. I sneak downstairs sometimes to use that toilet because it's bigger.
MFT, my favorite
My
toilet.
favorite toilet. My favorite toilet's downstairs. My favorite shower's upstairs.
Everyone
It just
loves-
doesn't work.
Yeah, it's nice. What happened to the other toilet?
The upstairs toilet.
The down one. Your
Downstairs?
favorite toilet.
It's still there.
It was the old one.
The old we
That wasn't your favorite.
put it in the back of its truck.
That one was no good.
That was no good. That one didn't have that pressure. It didn't suck. This one sucks that stuff. No Brown Friday.